Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much to the Czech Republic network of the Global Compact for the invitation to come here today. I think we've heard a lot this morning about the challenges that the world faces in terms of social, developmental, and environmental challenges. And we have now the UN Sustainable Development Goals that set a clear long-term direction and framework for all players, for business, for government, and for civil society. And business has a really significant role to play here to meet these goals, and I see that as two sides for business. The first is to operate responsibly and ethically in everything we do, to minimize any negative environmental impacts, to respect human rights, to treat our employees, the people who work in our supply chain, our local communities fairly, and to also transparently address the issues that are of key concern to our stakeholders. But I think the second role of business, and here I mirror what Manuela has said, is businesses must ensure what they do, their fundamental purpose, is delivering tangible benefits at scale for society. Now, Vodafone is one of the largest communications companies in the world. We operate in 26 countries. We have partners in 57 more. And we have over 450 million mobile customers across the world. And I believe that mobile and digital are a powerful source for good. Communication networks underpin every aspect of modern society. People use them to stay in touch with family and friends, to access information and learn more about the world they're in, and also to access services that can improve health and well-being, develop their skills, and improve their chances for economic empowerment. And over the last year at Vodafone, we have developed a new 10-year sustainable business framework and strategy. And the intention was very much to ensure that our sustainable business framework was very closely aligned to the core commercial goals of our business and to maximize the social and environmental benefits that can come from achieving those goals. And so our new framework sets out our intentions around operating responsibly and improving the range and depth of our disclosure around the key issues that really are of public concern. But it also looks at how our technology can transform society. And this is a belief that the Vodafone Foundation also shares, and through its Connecting for Good strategy focuses on how we can use our technology to tackle some of the really challenging social issues in the world. And in fact, earlier this week, the Foundation launched one of its biggest philanthropic programs, which is called Instant Schools for Africa, which is an initiative aimed at providing millions of young people in the countries we operate in Africa with free access to online learning materials. But philanthropy is part of the role of business, but I want to focus the rest of my talk around the transformational impact of technology and what we can do as Vodafone to really deliver social benefit there. And on two key areas that are themes of this summit, women's empowerment and energy innovation. We've heard very inspiringly about a personal story around women's empowerment this morning. And there has been significant progress. There are more girls than ever in education, and there's been a reduction in the number of women who die in childbirth. There are more female entrepreneurs. However, major challenges remain, and there is no time to waste. There are almost 60 million girls who have no access to education in the world. Women are economically disadvantaged compared with men. They're less likely to be employed in formal work. They earn less. They're less likely to benefit from education and training. They're less likely to set up businesses. And in our area, there are 1.7 billion women in the world who don't have access to a mobile and all the benefits that it can bring. And here too, there is a gender gap. It's estimated that there are about 200 million women, less than men, who have a mobile. And this prevents them from reaping the benefits that mobile can bring. And to give you an example from Tanzania, we are working with the Tanzanian government and local partners on something called the mHealth Tanzania Partnership. And this is about reducing avoidable maternal deaths every year, and using mobile to provide free antenatal support to women across the country, even in the most rural areas in Tanzania. So expectant mothers receive 3 or 4 text messages a week that gives them information aligned to national public health guidelines. It's tailored to the stage of the pregnancy that they're at. It reminds them about antenatal clinics, about taking anti-malarial medication, and health advice tailored to their stage of pregnancy. And we've reached millions of mothers since the service was launched in 2012 and sent over 55 million text messages to those pregnant women to support them and their families. Another example is relating to women and girls' education. I met a lady about 3 years ago, an Egyptian lady called Wafa Mohammed Ramadan, and she lives in Cairo and is in her 50s. And she faced a lot of problems due to her lack of education. She once signed a document that signed away her house and her shop and her jewelry because she didn't know what she was signing. She once gave her child the wrong medication because she couldn't read the box. And she's one of millions of women in Egypt who are unable to read and write. And through the Vodafone Egypt's foundation work on a program called Knowledge is Power, we've worked with the government and local partners to develop a program that brings together classroom-based learning, but also digital learning tools. So you can download an app onto your phone that you can use whenever it's convenient around your other responsibilities to learn to read. And over 200,000 Egyptians have successfully graduated from that program. Around 70% of those are women. So Wafa now not only teaches her children to read using what she's learnt and the program, but also her neighbours. Our ambition on women's empowerment in our new strategy sits alongside our own diversity and inclusion program within Vodafone as a business, but it's to connect millions more women who are not currently connected to mobile and to provide those value-added services that can have a positive impact on their lives in the areas of financial inclusion, health, and skills development. So moving to another area that's a key focus of our new 10-year strategy, and that's around energy innovation. And we've heard already this morning about the challenge of climate change, around clear evidence of global temperatures rising and consensus amongst policymakers and scientists of the need for action. And of course, in Paris, world leaders agreed to a target to maintain global average temperature rise below 2 degrees. And communications infrastructure, we can't function without energy. We need a lot of electricity to connect the billions of people and machines that transmit calls and data every second. And the challenge is growing as more people connect, as every additional gigabyte of data is sent, we need more energy to meet those needs. So we have a responsibility as a business to manage our own energy consumption and associated emissions. But our technology can also enable others and other sectors to really improve their energy efficiency. So new technologies such as the Internet of Things are spreading into every aspect of daily life, and they bring network intelligence to devices, to machines, to processes that can really drive energy efficiency and reduce the associated emissions. So another very simple example, we worked with a bank in New Zealand, ASB Bank, who had increased energy costs and use, and there were government targets they needed to meet. And they decided to install smart meters with a Vodafone SIM card in their 167 branches, in their call center, in their data center, in their offices. And what those meters can do is they collect data every 15 minutes and send that data to a central server so the business can, in almost real time, manage the energy that it's using and make appropriate adjustments. And so within 24 hours of that project starting, it became clear that some of the bank's remote systems weren't working properly. The automatic lights weren't turning off. The air conditioning wasn't doing what it was meant to be doing. And they now have branch-level targets across their whole business. Employees can go on the intranet, see how much energy they're using on an almost real-time basis. And over the 3 years, this Internet of Things solution has helped the bank to reduce its energy consumption by 23% and saved over €1 million. So it's meeting its saving cost and meeting its government targets. Another example from the world of machine-to-machine technology. A lot of local authorities are trying to manage their carbon emissions in areas like housing and traffic and waste management. And one example that I particularly like comes from the Netherlands, from the municipality of Groningen in the Netherlands, where we work with partners to put a device in every single litter bin in the city. And that device has a Vodafone SIM in it, and it measures the level of waste in that litter bin. And once the waste reaches a certain level, a message is sent to the depot with the coordinates of the bin, and that bin is then on the next round for collection. So what it means is waste trucks don't go to empty bins that don't need emptying. It means that when a bin is full, it is emptied and is not overflowing with unhealthy and unsightly litter. And it saves fuel costs, maintenance costs, reduces the number of vehicles that are needed in the fleet. And this solution has now been rolled out across almost 25% of the Netherlands municipalities. But it's another innovative example of how we can use what we fundamentally do and our technology to drive energy efficiency improvements across other sectors. So together with our intention to operate responsibly and increase the depth of our disclosures around issues that really matter to our stakeholders around human rights, supply chain, these two areas of women's empowerment and energy innovation are at the heart of our 10-year sustainable business framework to ensure that we are playing our part in addressing the Sustainable Development Goals over the next period of time. Thank you.